Enthusiasm is the electricity of life. How do you get it? You act enthusiastic until you make it a habit. Gordon Parks. My friends, I come to you every day enthusiastically following these markets because I love it. For those of you who don't feel like I feel, but you want to have the knowledge that we teach here of how to chart the markets, how to become a successful trader, a successful investor, I encourage you to, again, if you have to fake the enthusiasm, fake it. 10 to 15 minutes a day, that is all we ask. Thank you for the emails that are coming in. I know so many of the Patreon members are excited about all those weekly vertical crossovers. We have another batch of them going out. In fact, I don't think I've fired them off yet. I have found them. I'm about to do that. I'll do that at the end of the podcast and the video today. But for our Patreon members, every week I send out on Wednesday or Thursday. I'm doing it more and more on Thursday just because they're going to be more accurate, because they're closer in time to the weekly vertical crossovers that occur on Friday. We have 7 up. We have 13 down. There just weren't that many good up ones because, again, the market overall, if you look at the numbers, we have more stocks going down than we do up. And again, it doesn't mean that's the volume. It just means as far as numbers of stocks go, that's where we are. Remember, there are some huge companies that pick up the majority of the volume of the market. But that is where we see things. And again, for those of your Patreon members, I encourage you, track those, look at them, make decisions, all the charts all the time. And those of you who are interested, of course, check out our Patreon support. We sure appreciate it. We bring you lots of good things to Patreon members, all sorts of special trainings, a 3-part series, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way, along with those weekly vertical crossovers, along with a once a month, and that's coming up soon at the beginning of the month, first Wednesday in July. We will have, of course, our live question and answer call-in session. Let's jump into these charts. We see stocks and bonds up, gold and Bitcoin down. Let's look at what's going on, how this week is developing. First on the S&P. We see as things slide sideways, the price percent oscillator, which had been heading down much stronger, flattening, still negative. Derivative oscillator gaining downward momentum. We have a green spinning top, open box little bit for the week. Market was up today, 0.59%. Look at this 2-day. Now, the past 2-day ended on Wednesday, so this one is going to be the Thursday, Friday. And what do we see going on there? We have an up candle that's forming, a nice big green up candle so far, first day of the latest 2-day. Price percent oscillator is flat. Derivative oscillator still just barely negative. Price percent oscillator is negative but flat. We see on the half-day chart, had things cross over in the morning on Wednesday, slid sideways Wednesday afternoon, popping up on Thursday, and about the same, the Thursday morning, about the same in the afternoon. Price percent oscillator heading up, derivative oscillator heading up. So we'll watch and see where these markets are going. They are just having a hard time flipping over, at least on the S&P. Now the Qs, a little different. We look at the Qs, we're going into the 5th week of up movement, getting closer and closer. If you look over there on the left-hand side of the page, the PPO below that horizontal gray line, PPO and the exponential moving average 8 period, that's our signal line, they are laminated right now. We'll see what happens on Friday if we have a weekly vertical crossover. Just don't know if that's going to be happening. It might be. We shall wait. We shall see. What about the 2-day chart? Well, it continues to move up on the NASDAQ 100. I'm going to redraw that a little bit for us. And we see the price percent oscillator heading up, derivative oscillator gaining a little bit of upward momentum. Go to the half-day chart. What do we see there? Up in the morning, losing out a little bit, slowing down in the afternoon. Again, both the S&P and the NASDAQ 100 up. We will be watching for a potential weekly vertical crossover going up on the Qs next week. not happening on the S&P. That's just not in the cards yet. What about 20-year bonds up 0.16%? Again, this has been a lackluster week. Things peaked last week at a high of 146.04. So far, this week, 144.49. Price percent oscillator losing a little bit of momentum. Derivative oscillator still heading up today. Again, that's where we can see where things had peaked before not happening so far. But again, moving up the trend line. Price percent oscillator still heading up some. Derivative oscillator losing some momentum. And we look at the half-day chart. Of course, it had crashed when things really hammered down for about a day and a half. It had been sliding sideways since then, and not enough momentum to reverse the derivative oscillator or the price percent oscillator. That's where we are on bonds. Let's head to gold. Gold down just a wee bit for the day, 0.06%, but a down week. Now, didn't hit the lows of last week, but getting close, getting real close to crossing over, going down. Hasn't happened yet. If it's a big down day for gold tomorrow, that could happen. But it's going to take some more movement for that to occur. But be on the lookout for that. It is nonetheless possible. What do we see on the 2-day? Well, we can see where gold has sort of leveled out here at about the 166.30 mark, something around there, sort of sliding along that. Is it just digesting the losses, getting ready to plummet again? Could that happen on Friday? That's possible. Could it be finally bottoming out, getting ready to move up as it hits that 200-period moving average line, which is where it's sort of staying? That is possible too. It'd be nice to see that as a floor, wouldn't it? Well, let's continue to watch, see what we see there. Price percent oscillator nonetheless, and derivative oscillator still gaining downward momentum. Half day, again, we can sort of see that floor right there. Maybe that is where things are going to bottom out. That'd be nice. At the end of the day, we do see the price percent oscillator oscillating into the positive. And of course, the derivative oscillator has stayed positive. So maybe that's a good sign. Keep your eye on gold. Now, that's where we are on our 4 big charts. Let's just take a peek at Bitcoin. Bitcoin down for the day, 0.50%. You can see we hit a lower low this week, the lowest of Bitcoin in a while, all the way down to 30,221.56. Now, it's not there now, but that's where it had punched down to. Price percent oscillator still heading down. Derivative oscillator losing some downward momentum, but still quite negative. 2-day, flattening out a little bit. A green candle is forming, but that's a solid green, not an open box. So that's just showing a slowdown in the down movement. Derivative oscillators still positive. We look at the half day, we can see where Bitcoin really crashed there on Tuesday. And then, of course, that was Tuesday the 22nd. And then, of course, over the last 2 days, Bitcoin has been trying to gain a little bit. Well, it really just gained yesterday. That was on Wednesday, and today sliding sideways, now down 0.50%. 0.5%'s not much for Bitcoin, but again, we're not seeing any blasting up on Bitcoin. But those of you who are interested in it, please continue to follow it. Keep an eye on Bitcoin. When you get a chance to practice trade it. You're not going to learn how to do it without doing it. And again, you don't have to spend any money, but you can sure practice trade, follow Bitcoin every day, get a feel for how these charts work with it. Thank you again for all the new Patreon members. You're interested in Patreon membership, follow the link in the show notes. If you're not a subscriber for free at chartingwealth.com, you're not getting our daily trainings that we put out. We got a great one for you today. It is fractional shares, the next step after paper trading. Oh, please get that one. Anyway, that's where we are at the end of the day, my friends. God bless all the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.